SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Here's Sammy the Shovel here to tell you to call before you dig.
A lot of homeowners are working hard to create a loving home. Whether it's expanding that crowded deck, maybe a swimming pool, good times start with these additions. And that's why we respectfully ask you to first call 811 and have your utilities properly marked before you dig. It saves you from injury and expense. It's the law, and it's just the right thing to do. So call 811 before you dig. Remember us for your next project. Just call 811.
Pike County, here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Brown.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any parties. Correct?
No, sir. Mine is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Said I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning to you. How you doing on a Tuesday morning? Lovely weather, which is what we have for the week. We'll take it. Oh, how we'll take it. Let's say that. We've got a little chance of rain coming through tomorrow and some rain over the weekend. But you know what? It's going to be temperatures in the mid-to-upper 70s during the day and the upper 50s at night, so rain. We don't care, rain. It can be as wet as it wants to be as long as it won't freeze. It's amazing how your perspective changes on weather events if you're paying attention to what we just avoided. That gives you a different perspective on things. Hope you have a great day planned. If not, it's not too late. You can still plan to have a great day. All you got to do is slap a big old stupid smile on your face and fake it till you make it. A good mood, by the way, is one of those things that you can fake it till you make it. It has been, look, when I first started in this business back in the 1600s, that was some advice that I was given, and it is true. Because when I'm giving you some inside baseball here, I would apologize, but I don't care. When you're on the radio, when you're talking, same thing applies to a phone call. Nobody calls on the phone anymore. It's all texting now, but let's pretend you still made phone calls. Same thing with the phone call. You can hear a smile in someone's voice. If you're just getting started and you don't know how to regulate your emotions through your voice and develop a range, you at least want to sound happy, right? Well, you just slap a big goofy smile on your face while you're talking, and it changes the way your voice sounds. Same thing can happen in general. If you slap a big goofy smile on your brain, it changes the way you approach your day. Yes, that was dumb. That was kind of the point. hopefully you got a smile out of that, because that is the point. Slap a big smile on your face, fake it till you make it. It'll be fine. The streets, I just have to say this before we get into anything else. The streets in the city of Macomb, looking great. I mean, Delaware, they did a great job on it. They really did. Same thing with Marion. Did a great job, smooth as butter. But there are other spots. Right next to Hartman's on Delaware. Have you seen that mess? Now, here's the thing. This is slightly more complicated than some people would think. It's a mess because they had to dig it up and fix some water problems. Which is fine. That's great. The water and sewer repair team working overtime all day, every day, because we have no shortage of breakages and leakages, which cause problems. So you got to break up the asphalt, dig down there, and fix it, and then fill the hole back in. And then I'm hoping we're buying orange and white barrels in bulk, because, yeah, we're going through a lot of them. So as far as repairing it, great job. Great job to the department. They're getting in there, they're fixing it, they're taking care of stuff just as quickly as they can. Then you got to come back, though, and do some overlay over it. Now, you can't immediately do it, because once you fill the hole back in, you got to let the dirt settle and pack down, and then top it off and get it even, and then you do an overlay over it. So you can't just immediately overlay it again. That's understandable. But I want to come back to something you and I have talked about many, many times. The reason we're having so many water and sewer problems that require the road to be dug up. Delaware, we've talked about it. If you recall, it was a several-month process. First thing they did was dig up the middle of Delaware, because that's where the pipes are, under Delaware. So they dug it up, went down, and replaced all of the infrastructure below the ground. Got brand new stuff in there. Then they filled it in. If you recall, even then, they filled it in, and then they had to wait and let the dirt settle for a few weeks, and then they came back and did the overlay, and it's beautiful. And unlike some other roads in the city of Macomb that have gotten overlaid over the last few years and then immediately had to be dug back up because there was a problem, Delaware is staying pristine so far. And honestly, I expect that to continue because they did it the correct way. I don't know if you recall, there was a lot of arguing about whether or not we needed to spend that money. Because see, what it comes down to at City Hall, and I'm going by the evidence of what has been done, not the opinions that come out of mouths. Not the posturing that we get sometimes, but the actual things that have been done. The people at City Hall care more about money that they might have to spend than they care about money you'll have to spend fixing your car because everything is falling to pieces. And you keep driving over these kind of things. These enormous gaping potholes that are left. They're not even a pothole. Yeah, but that's okay. You got to understand. Do you have any idea how much it's going to cost? Do you know how much a front end alignment costs? Oh, they don't care about that. They don't. Because we keep figuring out a way to find the money to do ridiculous things. Things that aren't as necessary as keeping the roads and streets of Macomb drivable. That's what it's compared against. Every penny we've got should be saved, if we have to, until we get up enough to pay to fix the infrastructure. You're going to have to take it one piece at a time, even one road at a time, and that's fine. as long as you're making progress, not doing continual patchwork on what are in some cases non-existent pipes. Again, it was about 10, 12 years ago. They sent a robotic camera down into the pipes under the streets of Macomb to take a look at them. And in some places, there was no pipe anymore. It was just a tunnel through the dirt because the pipe had collapsed. Because again, we put pipes in, 40, 50 years ago that were rated to last 20 years. So we don't even get the luxury of being surprised that we're having all these problems. We don't even get the satisfaction of going, well, it was an emergency, but we've dealt with it well because it's not a sudden emergency. It's been a slow-rolling disaster. We have seen it coming and watched it unfold over the last decade. And also because, well, nobody's really going to be able to have a straight face when they say we've handled it well. So now you've got that problem right there. And again, props to the crew for getting out there and fixing the problem. But now, you remember what we have talked about before with curb appeal for the city of Macomb. That's important for all municipalities. What's your first impression? You know the old expression, you only get one chance to make a first impression. Well, right now it's go through the ridiculous construction zone on the interstate, get off on the Delaware exit, take a left, and the first thing you see is more orange barrels before you've gone 2 blocks, marking a very unattractive situation. We have to fix the infrastructure. Well, we don't have the money. Well, then you don't have the money for anything else. Nothing. You don't go to any fancy dinners. You don't go to any big highfalutin conferences. You don't do anything until you figure out how to fix the infrastructure under the roads and the streets of the city of Macomb so we can start getting some control of this nonstop problem. Oh, you don't understand, Dave. Other business has to continue on. Well, sure, if it can get down the street to its office. But we don't care about that. All we care about at City Hall is what's going on inside City Hall. And are there any snacks in the break room today? Did somebody bring a pie? I love pie. Could somebody bring a pie tomorrow? Con pie. Oh, wait, no. Egg custard. We need an egg custard pie in the break room. Thank you. Priorities, and or the lack thereof, continue to show their faces all around the city of Macomb. And those faces are orange and white stripes. We continue. We've got the agenda for tonight's meeting. Got a question about civics. Going to get into that when we come back on Super Talk, Mississippi, Pike County, 93.5. Keep it here.
Take a step towards a stronger you. Join Southwest Health for our 36th annual Heart Healthy Day on Friday, February 13th. Head over to Uptown Macomb Mall from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for free health screenings, expert advice, and exciting giveaways. Follow your heart to better health at the 36th annual Heart Healthy Day on Friday, February 13th. This event is completely free. We'll see you there.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalk.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalk.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on.
Put a million miles upon these bones. Living out this feeling I portray.
Welcome back, Super Talk, Mississippi, Pike County, 93.5. Dave Hughes here. Got a message. What about Pearl River at Locust at the red light? Yeah, well, Locust has been a horrible situation for several years now. But when we get to the agenda in a moment, there might be some hope on the horizon there. Well, you'll find out what I'm talking about when we look at the agenda for tonight's meeting of the Macomb City Board of Mayor and Selectmen, which has over 30 items on it. So bring some snacks and maybe a pillow and a blankie if you're going to attend the meeting in person, because might last a minute. It's going to take forever just to read some of the items out into the minutes of the meeting. There's a couple of those items. I'll read one of them when we get there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Before we get there, Mose asked, by the way, Mose had a great suggestion for the break room: sweet potato pie with a hint of bourbon. It's Tuesday. It's already been a long week. A hint might not be enough, but yeah, okay, I'll still go with that. But Mose asked, said he wanted my thoughts on Senate Bill 2292. That's the one to require civics to be taught in high school, because they've kind of gotten away from that. Can you tell? Yeah. He said, if we teach civics in high school, do you think over time we might see an increase in voter turnout? I hope so. I'm going to put a caveat on that, Mose. My hope for that would not be more turnout. My hope for that would be more informed voter turnout. A subtle difference, but to me it's important. If you just get people in, I'm sorry, I want you to go to Walmart today, get the ingredients for that sweet potato pie with a hint of bourbon. You know, some people can't take a hint. You got to hint several times. Hint, 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 hint of bourbon. While you're in there picking up your supplies, stand and look around. And you'll come to realize that, well, we do need more people to show up to vote, but we need those people to know what the heck they're talking about, what they're thinking about, be able to form a thought and follow it through to a logical conclusion. We have been short in that department for a while. I think everyone would agree with that statement. except for all the people who disagree with that statement, but, it's just kind of proving my point. Civics in high school is important because so many people don't understand how, anything works. They certainly don't understand how government works. It's a big, enormous, slow-moving leviathan of a mess some days. That's the way government works. And then you have some person that comes along, some group of people that come along, not organized, just they show up to the polls because they need to show up to the polls, but they have no idea about any of the issues, about how it's going to affect them in any way, and about how things work, and they wind up just pouring a handful of sand into machinery that doesn't work that well on a good day. And then we wind up with some of the results we've been getting. So my hope for the civics in high school, I think it's a good idea. I'm for it. I know some people, oh my goodness, it's horrible. Oh, shut up. I am 100% for going back to teaching civics in high school. If you recall, when we had the thing that started about, we must teach cursive writing, I don't care about that. They're not teaching cuneiform using a reed to stamp it into a clay tablet because communication and recorded information methods change over time, and we go to different methods and different ways of doing things. So I wasn't on board with that one. Everyone was raising heck with, no, we must teach cursive. They're not going to be able to read the Declaration or the Constitution if they don't know cursive. They're not reading them now. That's the problem. The ones that do know cursive aren't reading them, have never read them. So we're kind of focused on fixing the wrong end of that problem. Civics will address that. Civics will teach them those things that they should have enough impetus in their personal life to take care of themselves and go find it out. So, we need to cross our fingers that what this leads to. Now the problem is, because we've gone for a while, and civics has fallen out of fashion in the public schools, in all the schools. Why? Because you don't get any money for teaching people good civics. All the funding is tied to the four big ones, the ones there's a big test at the end of the year for. So everything else has become kind of secondary. Not really blaming the school districts for that. I mean, if you're going to get paid, do what you're told by the bosses to do. But civics is hugely important, and we are in the middle of a laboratory experiment that proves that. So I think we will see an increase in voter turnout over time. It's going to be a while, though, because you're talking about teaching civics in high school. Most people can't register to vote until at best their senior year, most of them after they graduate. So we have to, if they put this in, I'm hoping it will. I'm pretty sure it probably will. When this goes into effect and goes into law, you got anywhere from 2 to 4 years before the first class this has had any impact on actually can go to the polls. And you're going to need several years worth to start moving the needle. So this is one of those long-term projects. Increase in voter turnout? Eventually. An increase in informed voter turnout? Yes. Paradoxically, you might see a drop in voter turnout. It could happen. Because you may have some kids that hate civics when they go through it. They don't want anything to do with that, and it leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and they just don't go. I don't know anything about that. I don't want to participate. That could happen. But I would expect at least a slight increase. But I'm more concerned about the rate of informed voters that show up to cast their ballot on Election Day. I think this will have an effect, but I don't think the effect is going to be noticeable to any great extent for another 5 to 10 years minimum, and then would grow from there. That's my thought on that. I'm for it. I love it. It's a great thing. It's fantastic. And it's overdue. Now, let's just watch how it goes from here. The people that you hear speak against it, and before you say, who would speak against this? Oh, there are people that would make signs and protest against free ice cream being handed out. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Somebody is going to be upset about it. So there will be people that are upset about, this is taking time away from math and reading and all the other stuff. You can't do that. We need to focus on that. No, we need well-rounded citizens that understand what it means to be a citizen. That's a very important thing that people should learn as they're coming up on the date where they can register to vote. But notice who complains. And remember, the ones that complain about high school kids having to learn civics and how the government works and how things operate in this country, those people complaining, they get to vote. They've been voting this whole time. In the medical community, this is called focusing the problem. What that means is somebody comes in, says they've got a complaint, something's hurting. Well, you go through the process and figure out what's causing the problem. Well, we've partially focused the problem of how things have been going for the last 20 years in America by reminding you the people that are going to complain about the idea of teaching civics in high school have been voting this entire time. Just like to remind you of that. Let's move on now to the, well, it looks like James Joyce wrote the agenda for tonight's meeting of the Macomb City Board of Mayor and Selectmen. 722,000 pages, 3 commas. Because there is a lot to get to. And most of that space comes from doing away with bank accounts. Because that was a request that was made as they've been going through things in the financial setup for the city of Macomb. It has been brought to their attention. You got a lot of bank accounts that you're not using that are just clogging things up, gumming up the works. Get rid of them. Getting to that. And we will get to that here in just a moment. Starting out with the consent agenda, the consent docket. Municipal court revenues of $38,000. Privilege licenses, transient vendor licenses, and contractor licenses, $6,342. So at $38,300 plus the $6,300, what's that? We'll round up and say $45,000. That'll make a dent in the claims docket for the 2-week period from January 28th through February 10th of $1,090,000. Bunch of spendthrifts, that's what it is. They're just pinching every penny down there. Going to appoint some new police officers, Tyreek McGee, Kiera Patterson, and Ramsey Bush Jr., all 3 of those on the agenda to be appointed as a probationary status police officer with the Macomb Police Department. Let's see. Number 5, consider waiving the fee to fill the pool at Edgewood Park for the Macomb Garden Club Azalea Court Coronation Honors. That's coming up. It does not seem like it should be time again, but it is. We're in February. We got another couple of months. $750. Been doing that forever. Consider approving an interlocal agreement of 911 to establish shared funding of the Pike County Emergency Communications District and Commission. I'm sure there'll be no discussion, no comment. That'll just be a quick vote and they'll approve it. Number 7, approving the construction, engineering, and inspection contract for South Locust Street. Now, I told you just a moment ago, we had some good news coming up. Here it is. But I want you to pay full attention to how this is happening. The construction, engineering, and inspection contract for South Locust Street from the Mississippi Department of Transportation and authorizing the mayor to sign. MDOT coming in. This is going to be the Locust and 98 section down there. Hopefully they're going to put a light in. I don't know how long I'm going to have to go. It's been years now. How long I'm going to have to continue calling for a traffic signal at the intersection of Locust and 98. But at this point, we take a flat surface to drive on. The standards have slipped. Hopefully this is a step in that direction. Also, we're going to skip over because there's 3 bills from Louisiana water meter installation, $5,500, $9,500, and $8,800. We may or may not come back to that. Depends on if I have the will to live to do it. Because we're going to skip right down to number 11, which is consider approving an overlay project for the top portion that connects Avenue E South and North Locust, $120,000. So some activity being discussed at tonight's meeting regarding Locust Street and the surrounding Locust areas to start straightening out some of the street problems. We certainly hope that comes through. I expect those to be approved. I would like to remind you, though, if you go ahead with overlay projects and you don't repair or replace the infrastructure under the street before you do the overlay project, what's going to happen? Orange and white striped barrels. Remember when, I think it was West Street just off Delaware. It's been a year or two ago. They went through, they did an overlay, looked great for about a week. And then they had to dig up a portion of it right next to Delaware to fix a water problem. And we had an orange and white striped barrel and a mess. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So hopefully there's going to be some discussion about that. Well, we don't have the money. Never stopped you before when you had something ridiculous you wanted to do. So might as well have the conversation now. Moving on from there into the meat of the agenda in a way. There are several contributions going out, coming in. Boys and Girls Club, no amount filled in because they have to decide that. Annual contribution to Scenic River for $10,000, to the Macomb Pike County Airport for $30,000. Receiving donations from Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from First Bank, from Bank of Franklin, Pike National Bank, and Neil Schaefer, all going to the City of Macomb Festival and Parade Fund. Very nice, civic-minded organizations, one and all. Number 22, consider approving the 2026 Strategic Plan and Tiger Team. In case you're not familiar with the term Tiger Team, that is a corporate jargon. You put together a Tiger Team, they're going to attack the problems like a tiger, and they're going to go in. Yeah. But we're getting a Tiger Team. The 2026 strategic plan. It's nice to hear that. When's the last time we had a plan, much less a strategic one? So that's an improvement in and of itself. Consider approving the application and ordinance for boring, digging, excavating, and trenching within the city of Macomb. This was brought up in a work session. I think it might have been last week, actually, that but it's been talked about for a while. We don't really have firm guidelines for these people that are coming in with boring machines to lay underground cable and digging and all of that. So they're trying to firm that up. That's a worthy endeavor before a problem happens. Haven't had a major problem, but we'd rather not. So let's make sure we're doing it right. Now we get down, starting at item 24. The water and sewer bond account, the 1996 bond, has been completed. I'm partially reading from the item. Has been completed and fully carried out. The balance amount of $106,074.73 remaining in the water and sewer bond 1996 account number 1124 is hereby ordered to be transferred to the general fund of the city of Macomb so they can shut that account down. So we had $106,000 sitting in the bank nobody was touching because nobody knew what was going on. They didn't know if they could touch it. They didn't know if it was still needed to pay something. We got a list of those. I mean, fair play, hat tip. They have now figured it out and trying to straighten some stuff out. This is a bond from 1996. That was 10 years ago. We're just now figuring this out. Also, by the way, it throws in there, the tax levy for the fiscal year 2027 shall be reduced by the amount of $106,074. Now, we go on, the water and sewer depreciation account from 1996 had $7,285 in it. The water and sewer contingency 1996 account, $7,278. The DDA public account 1996, you noticing a trend here? $3,147. Then we get to the ridiculous ones. Got three here. I'm going to read this item. This is why I said bring a pillow and some snacks and a blankie if you're going to the meeting. Get comfortable. You're staying the night. Just to read these things into the minutes are going to take a minute. I mean, you got to do that to make it legal. But I'm going to read the most ridiculous one as it is written on the agenda. This is the item. And to me, again, this is the silliest one. Consider the motion made pursuant to Mississippi Code annotated 27-105-3672B, authorizing the transfer of surplus amounts less than $2,500 from special funds upon proper notice and procedure. The City of Macomb Special Fund, designated as Recreation Facilities, account number 9670, established for 2022 for recreation facilities upgrades, which currently has a balance of $5.09, of which small surplus, $5.09, constitutes surplus funds not needed for the original purpose, and since surplus amount of $5.09 is less than $2,500, and declaring the intent to transfer the sum of $5.09 from Recreation Facilities account number 9670 to the General Operations X3088, directing the city clerk to publish one time in the Enterprise Journal, a newspaper of general circulation in the city of Macomb. The transfer shall become effective 30 days after the first publication of this order, providing that no valid petition objecting to said transfer is filed within said 30-day period, and further approving the clerk to establish elections to be held on the question of said transfer as provided by law if a valid petition is filed. Somebody Ignore the rest of them. Ignore them all. Somebody file a valid petition. I want us to have to hold an election to vote whether or not to move $5.09 from one account to another. Why? You know why. We all know why. Because I'm a jerk. I've never hidden that. I tried to hide that light under a bushel. The bushel caught fire and burned away. So now we just got the jerk light. That would be hysterical to me if we wound up having to have an election. What would the turnout be? We were talking about turnout earlier, possibly going up once they start teaching civics in high school again. What would the turnout be for an election with one item on the ballot, which is whether or not to move $5.09 from one bank account to another one? That is a possibility. There's a non-zero chance that could happen. It's not going to happen, I'll tell you that, but it could. And that would be like an early Christmas for me. That would be magical. The number of parody songs alone would be staggering. It might be a boost to the local economy. Because that vote would be a tourist attraction. There are others. Got $5,313. The city construction account for the Alpha Center still has $5,300 in it. Going to transfer that out. Go Bonds, the fund to refund the Go Bond from 2023, got $12,036.40. Now, of course, it's over $2,500. I got to run it in the paper. Same thing. A valid petition could be filed. And then number 33 on the agenda, the last item. Consider the motion to find that it is in the best interest of the city to close inactive accounts to streamline financial administration and reduce administrative burden. How many years has it taken us to realize that might be something we needed to look at? How long and how many outside entities have come in and stirred their fingers around in the finances of Macomb before somebody finally got through to them and said, you got an account with $5 in it you're keeping track of. Why? You get all these accounts with all this money sitting in it. It's just sitting there. It's been sitting there, in some cases, for a decade. Why? So yes, that's the most, on the face of it, self-evident thing I've ever seen. Might be in the best interest of the city to close inactive accounts. No. What a revelation. Therefore, the city clerk and city administrator are directed to take all necessary actions to close said accounts with First Bank, and the city clerk shall update all municipal financial records to reflect the closure of those accounts. Which means, I guess, we're finally actually going to track them. I don't know. All I know for sure is I'm going to count all this as positive. These are all positive moves. It's just a sad, sorry state of affairs when you get positive moves made and all they do is frustrate you. This is good stuff that needs to be done. The problem comes in once you realize it should have been done 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. This should have been done. This should be an ongoing process. Every year, you look through all the accounts and go, oh, well, we paid this bond off. There's still $100 and something thousand in there. There's no more bond to pay on. That's gone. That's done. That $100 and something thousand needs to go back into the general fund. I mean, that's not asking too much, is it? I love it, Mose. No, Dave, rebate the money to the citizens. Everybody gets a penny. Well, from the $5.09, the citizens of Macomb number just over 11,000. That would be like a quarter of a penny each, which is, the equivalent to somebody blowing in your face as they walk by 20 years ago financially. Inflation has just ripped us. Yeah, it's still, though, great idea. It kind of they gave almost a hat tip to that. You noticed in the wording where some of these, they're going to reduce the tax levy. The 106,000, I believe that's the one where it actually says that. The tax levy for fiscal year 2027 shall be reduced by the amount of $106,074.73 as provided by law. Going to do the same thing with the $7,285. Same thing with the $7,278. Yes, those were two different funds, two different amounts. $3,147. All of those are going to reduce the tax levy. Financial records. Mo says financial records. I would like to ask, if you would, please, put a laughing while crying emoji after jokes like that.
If you cry,
Got to clarify the intent there. Final break. Waiting for my quarter of a penny. Couple of last little details to hit on the way out the door. We'll do that next on Super Talk Mississippi, Pike County 93.5.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Take a step towards a stronger you. Join Southwest Health for our 36th annual Heart Healthy Day on Friday, February 13th. Head over to Uptown Macomb Mall from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for free health screenings, expert advice, and exciting giveaways. Follow your heart to better health at the 36th annual Heart Healthy Day on Friday, February 13th. This event is completely free. We'll see you there.
Don't miss Dave in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
Thank you, Mose. That's better. I feel better now.
Closing
It's like putting a period at the end of the sentence, you know, when you put that emoji. All right, in case you didn't hear about this, I just want to share this because sometimes I feel like we still have some folks that don't understand the extent of the problems that we have crime-wise. Yesterday, Marion County Sheriff's Department over Columbia Way put out a press release on February 7th, which was Saturday. Listen to this group. The Marion County Sheriff's Office, the Columbia Police Department, the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Hattiesburg and office, and Marion County District 2 Constable conducted multiple narcotics investigations, executed 2 residential search warrants, served outstanding arrest warrants for narcotics violations, and then it gives the list of those they arrested on Saturday. All 27 of them. 27 arrested for multiple felony possessions for some of these folks. Sale or transfer of a controlled substance within 1,500 feet of a school. Another one within 1,500 feet of a church, different person. Then later we've got one, school or church, got several of those. Sale or transfer of a controlled substance within 1,500 feet of a church times 3. Department of Corrections warrants. Now, here's one you might not be familiar with. One guy was arrested. Sale or transfer of a controlled substance within 1,500 feet of a park. So schools, churches, and parks, if you're within 1,500 feet and you're trying to sell drugs, that's a worse charge. It's a worse problem you have created for yourself. Now, we got schools sprinkled about all over the place. We got parks all over the place. Churches, we're eat up with churches. Last time I don't remember. I got to go look up. I got to find out how many churches we have in Pike County alone. At one point, and this is many years ago, it was like 60 or 70 different churches. Whatever the number is, you take the churches, you take the parks, you take the schools. I'm pretty sure that means you get that extra charge if you sell drugs anywhere in Pike County. Are you ever 1,500 feet away from all 3? I mean, if you're standing out in a field in the middle of nowhere, but there's no customers there, right? So just wanted to point that out. A lot of felony possessions, a lot of Department of Corrections warrants. And after 27 arrests that they announced, they ended their statement with, the operation is ongoing and additional suspects are being sought. They ain't done with the list that they had on Saturday. They only arrested 27 of them. That's good work. That's a good job. So everyone who just automatically screams, lock them up. Well, they are. Very good job. Very, very good job over in Marion County. Want to brag when the bragging is due. And in this case, the bragging is due for Marion County. We have some real winners running around in the streets, don't we? Yeah. You have a wonderful day. Remember, it's a good day. Why? Because you've decided it's going to be a good day. We'll get back together tomorrow morning at 9:06 on SuperTalk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. And do it all over, my friend. I'll see you then.
SuperTalk SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.